Hello everybody, welcome back to the Stickbot channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys my custom Stickbot of Spider-Man 2099 from Across the Spider-Verse. It would have been so much cooler if it actually focused when I did that. Please ignore any and all background noise, I can't help that. But this is my custom Stickbot of Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara from Across the Spider-Verse. Like I just said, I didn't have to repeat that. Anyway, let's just get straight into it just like I do all of my custom showcases with the head. This is interesting to talk about. This was the first thing that I really worked on with the custom, and this camera is way too good and is picking up all of the imperfections, and I kind of hate looking at it. But I started with doing the right eye. Eventually I got the general shape, because the issue is it doesn't fit on a Stickbot head. This whole guy is just so proportionally messed up because of the way 2099 is built compared to an actual Stickbot. It just does not work. So that makes him look very awkward in a certain way. But I did the best I could, and I think the eyes actually do look pretty good at the end of the day. I started with the right one. That wasn't too difficult. It was just a lot of edging to make sure the lines were kind of clean. And then it was the same thing on the left side, except there's way more paint buildup. Probably my biggest issue with this figure is how much paint buildup there is. I tend to go with paint first, clean it up later, instead of trying to get smooth lines the first time. And that is definitely the biggest flaw with this figure in my opinion. One of the flaws of this figure. And this is definitely great for learning. You can even see that there's areas where the blue wasn't thick enough to cover up the red that I was trying to clean up on the figure, which is actually very disappointing. But that's the eyes. Moving on to the torso. The torso took up the most of my time. The issue was it's a very, very confusing design. Nothing really lines up the right way. Nothing is connected. It's so disjointed, which made trying to paint it a living nightmare. I did try to start up here at the top. Wow, the camera changing is just, I love this. I did try to start up here at the top. After a bunch of layers of getting that down, I got this the right shape, then this, then I did these, and I did that. You can kind of see I did lazy out when you get to the right section. I wasn't too worried about that looking so good. I kind of just want to be done with it, honestly, and I might go back over that. Like, there are certain things that the camera just picks up that I wish it didn't, because looking at this with my own eyes, you can't see some of these problems, but when I put him in front of the camera, he looks so much worse. Like, I thought he looked bad already, but this is just destroying my ego right now, man. Probably the hardest details to get done even remotely well are the eyes and the nose in the skull of the spider symbol. That was so difficult. Then the little, like the mouthpiece and the pincers, and then trying to get it all lined up. It, like, again, when I zoom in, it looks absolutely atrocious, but we're working on, listen, we're working on such a small scale here. It is so difficult. That and everything being smushed together, it is definitely easier to customize this on a Lego minifigure because you get more space. It can be less proportionally weird, but when it's on a Stickbot, everything is so smushed into a thin rectangle, and it's also on such a small scale. And frankly, I know that I'm a veteran customizer. Out of all the customizers in the community, I've definitely been doing it the longest. I should be better at this. This is my first time really attempting to do fine lines and fine details on a Stickbot scale. And I say for a first attempt, it's great for learning. Keeping on with the torso here, let me just move these arms, being careful to not break them. You can see that I did add the little 3 lines that are on the side of him underneath this sort of rib area on the suit. I think that's actually what that's supposed to represent, like the fins, I think they're called, that muscly people have. And I did that on both sides. The only issue is between the 2 sides. It is actually kind of hard to tell, but they aren't evenly placed. This one is behind the seam line on the Stickbot, while this one is going over the seam line. Thankfully, if I'm like animating him or showing him off now, it's kind of difficult to notice unless you're actively looking for imperfections. Turning this guy around. Oh, is this coming loose again? I hope not. We have the back. The back was something I worked on off and on the figure. It's a weird looking back because even like, so you'll notice on the front of the torso that I tried to make the shoulders line up with the chest here, right? Well, a big deal with this guy was I wanted accuracy. Not a single detail left out. I wanted all the accessories. I wanted everything for this guy, right? His shoulder details specifically don't line up, meaning I could just do whatever I wanted with the Stickbot proportions and they could just go wherever, which is so weird. I have a pet peeve with like all of the designs in Spider-Verse. A lot of them are just, when you break them down, they have so many issues that you don't notice because it's like a cartoony movie in a way. But when you have to copy them down and put them on a stick bot, it's so annoying. So I did the shoulders, I did this line here, and then I did the like, I think it's supposed to represent like the back of a spider somehow. And yeah, that I didn't spend too much time on that. It is a little lopsided, a little uneven, but I kind of got to the point where I just did not care with this guy. I've been working on this guy since the movie came out, by the way. I finished him, I think, 2 days ago. So I think I have the right to just skip out on certain things. Also, there's this little detail on the back of the neck that I was actually planning to not include, but I did want to include every detail, and the little bit of red on the back of the neck does really help with the blandness. So I did include that arrow where it would be on the stick bot. Moving on to the shoulders. Again, this is another example of the detail being weird. The shoulders look like little talking bubbles, little speech bubbles. It's so weird. Of course, they're painted at the top there, and I did this on both sides. I did get them pretty even, surprisingly. And honestly, I do like this whole top section of the stick bot. All the red just really pops against the blue. Because everything is sectioned off onto its own little square, rectangle, or circle, all the little bits of red really get to shine instead of it being one disjointed mess. Spider-Verse design team. Moving down to the forearms, which I have a lot to talk about. I think the forearms were the first thing I actually did after I got all the base coats done. I painted the 2 red lines, trying to make sure that they were a good size. You can see all the layers on there. And then the last thing that I added to the stick bot were the arm blades. These, they weren't like a crucial detail, and they don't stay on him for the entirety of the movie, but I love character design, and arm blades are so cool, especially these ones. They look so sick. Although I do wish they were removable in some fashion. I did make them so that they're permanently on the stick bot. So it is actually difficult to pose him because they do get in the way. With the way that a stick bot moves, his arms can't do much more than what I have them in now, which is really annoying because I want him to do some cool poses. I should have posed him before I put the arm blades on, because there is a version of this guy without the arm blades that was almost finished. Yeah, those are glued on there. They are decently even. These are actually unevenly cut, like they're different. This was the first one, this is the second one. You can tell which one is cleaner. I should have definitely done a version 2 for this side of the arm blades because they look really messy. And yeah, again, like they don't line up properly, which is very annoying. But at the end of the day, at like a glance, they don't look too terrible. They could have looked worse. A big issue is I think they come out too far, but it is accurate. Again, accuracy to like a fault here. If this was my own design or something, if I was doing whatever I wanted to it, if I took creative liberties, then the arm blades probably wouldn't be done this exact way. I would have done different things. I don't know. I think the accuracy that I wanted to go for is probably the biggest flaw with this guy, because it led to me being kind of a perfectionist with all the detail, causing me to take forever on it, causing me to procrastinate. But thankfully, I liked the movie enough that I was actually able to finish this guy. I am mad that I missed the height of the Spider-Verse view train, because everybody was getting like millions of views for posting anything about Spider-Verse. I would have blown up. I mean, my canon event animation is already doing well for only being out for a day. But like, if I uploaded it at the height of Spider-Verse, nah, we would have been at 1,000 subscribers a while ago, okay? Speaking of which, we hit 1,000 subscribers. There's that. Or at the forearms, also notice that this is a trans orange stick bot. My reasoning for this was because it's kind of a reddish color and he has a lot of orange on him in the design, and I figured that it wouldn't look too bad. Although I did have blue stick bots, I figured I would use my old scrapped custom of Falcon from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because let's be real, I was never going to finish that. So this is what happened to him, for anybody who was wondering, aka literally no one, nobody cared. I also added red underneath the forearms here, because his palms are red. If the fingers are red, then that doesn't matter because the cups represent the fingers. But if the palms are red, then the underneath of the forearm should be red. That's just how I do customs. Then, because this guy has no detail whatsoever on his legs, we can just skip to the shins. Man, I forgot how bad these looked. Like, I remember these are another thing that I did early on because they're so easy and I just want to get them out of the way. But that led to me not caring too much about them, and like, who really cares? Then we also have the feet here. There is a little line here specifically because they do go up onto the toes. It is not just specifically underneath the foot, but it does go under the foot. And that goes all the way around on the stick bot, of course. You thought we were done, but oh no. I decided to make all the accessories that this guy had in the movie, even if they're only in the film for 3 seconds. slight spoiler for Spider-Verse. It isn't actually a spoiler for the story, but the cape was in there for 3 seconds. I wanted to have the cape because I thought it was cool, but again, it was only in the movie for 3 seconds, and I spent so much time on it, and it looks so terrible. I tried a million different methods to try and do the cape. I tried white, I tried all these different things, and it just did not work. None of them worked. This was the best one I could do, and it still looks terrible. Yeah. Also, I didn't paint the inside of the cape because I hated it enough to not do this, because it would barely get shown, and there was no point to it. I know I said I like accuracy, but I don't care. Here's the cape. Yeah, nothing else to say about it. You can kind of just see how bad it looks. Removing it from the StickBot, I can actually talk about how I made the cape. It's a piece of paper cut out to be the length of a StickBot. It's kind of rounded down here to be... The issue with a StickBot is so big that the cape couldn't be too round or it would look weird. Here's the inside. Like I said, I didn't paint it and I dropped it. Then up here, these two little strips of paper, I did put super glue on them to try and sturdy them up, but these go in the neck and they're actually pretty unnoticeable when he's on the StickBot, so I think that's a really cool detail there. The other accessory I made him was the Multiverse Watch, which I don't think is the official name for it, but that's kind of what it is. I didn't want to put too much detail into this, but I do think I put enough in to where it looks good. So there's some panel lining going across here, which is accurate. It's not random, it's accurate. There's a little orange circle, which was just there, and this orange blob where all the text and stuff goes. Yeah, I mean, I guess I am proud of the accessory. It is kind of like, it does come off. That was the biggest thing. I wanted it to be removable. And I did paint the inside blue to avoid any potential paint chipping. There is still a little bit of rub off from the silver. But essentially what I did was I took this and folded it inward so it has just the right tolerance to stay on there. As long as I don't touch it too much, it stays on perfectly fine. But yeah, that is Spider-Man 2099's Multiverse Watch, and I will of course make multiple for Gwen and yeah, just Gwen. I guess Peter needs one. Great time to mention, but I did start a Gwen StickBot and a Hobie StickBot from the movie, but I put them both on hiatus specifically because the workload was too much. Hobie was just he has too much going on to potentially work on this guy while working on 2099. And Gwen, I want her to have 3D eyes, but they go into the hood, and I haven't figured out how to do that yet, so I'm just putting her off. I'll probably finish them around when the next movie comes out, because you better believe I will be there waiting for that view hike. I want those free subs, man. Heck, if I'm even still uploading by then, that movie's getting pushed back for sure. Also unrelated, I will be posting a video about this on the LEGO channel. Probably not today because it is kind of late. Maybe tomorrow if I finally am in the mood to record a video for it. I made a LEGO Multiverse Watch for LEGO Spider-Man, just like in the movie. Uh-oh, spoilers. You know, you can't even avoid spoilers for this movie, so you definitely already knew if you haven't seen the movie yet. It's accurate to that, but it doesn't look anything like my Multiverse Watch for 2099 because the guy who designed the Multiverse Watch made it look very different from the others for some reason, and that was a pain to paint. It doesn't even look good either. But yeah, that was my custom StickBot of Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099 from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in joining my Discord server or following any of my socials, those links will of course be in the description. Keep on honking Mikey Stamp sandwiches. Let me know which Spider-Verse character I should make next in the comments below, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out. I don't want to knock him over because these arm blades are very fragile. But normally I'd do a little, I'd knock him over. So just end the video.